Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the post show here at Connections Community Church. We've just been through a service, and this is our opportunity to sit down and just talk about it, do a little debriefing of what went on. So, first of all, how's everyone doing this morning?
Great so far.
We're doing well. It's a beautiful morning out there.
It's nice
Isn't it?
when it's not 90 and humid at 7 o'clock when I leave the house.
It's been
wonderful.
I have not mowed my front yard in 3 weeks.
Oh,
Wow.
I haven't had to. I have to mow the backyard because over the septic system, the grass is really growing well. But front yard, I haven't touched it in 3 weeks. Yeah, crazy.
Nice.
So
Nice
it
little
feels
break.
way more like Michigan summer today and pretty sweet. Well, we kicked off a new series today on parenthood. Okay, so here's my opening question. When you learned we're going to talk about parenting, what was your first internal reaction when you heard it?
That was mine.
oh,
Hide.
mine was,
Abort.
yeah. Mine was like, well, 18 and 21, if I haven't learned it now, I guess I can still learn some things and use it on youth group.
So
yeah.
for you, this series is like a post show to your parenting.
It is. It's like, or it's me looking back going, oh, I made that mistake. I made that mistake.
Oh
I made
my
that
gosh, for sure. And just because I'm a little further down the road, Andy,
mistake. Just a tad.
I thank you for that, even though you didn't mean it.
He's a lot farther down the road. Like a lot.
Your parenting days are not close to over.
No, I can tell. Yep.
You know, you never stop being a parent. But parenting adult children is just a brand new phase with its own brand new challenges because you have basically no authority. Hopefully you have influence.
Yep.
But you don't have any authority, but you still have a parent's heart. You're looked at a certain way. So it'll be really fascinating to see
Yes.
how you navigate this next stage of being a parent of adult children.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I have people I can look up to or
man.
down to.
It's
Sorry, we're just hype joke. Hype joke.
Jeez.
I can look down to Dave while
was
still
like,
looking up at him.
You know, for a half a second, Andy made me feel good. And then, boom.
That's how
Down
my kids
we
make me feel.
Layla, you
Yes.
gave us a visual representation of how you felt when you first heard we were doing a parenting series. Why is that?
Because it's hard. It's just hard. It's like very rewarding, but very hard. And then, of course, we're packed today, so I had to sit in the front row.
Oh, I noticed that. I noticed you sit there. I saw your whole family in front row, and I said, "Oh, that's too bad."
This is great. A+ parents on display here at Connections. Like, God and his sense of humor. It's
I
just
know.
great
It's like, thanks for
sometimes.
putting us up front so the pastor can see our kids go,
Yeah, here's Charlie like slouching, and I'm like, oh, come on. But no, I'm excited to hear what questions you might have today for us. But I definitely will be my honest, vulnerable self because it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly working on forgiving myself and trying again. And as Andy said earlier, I'm very grateful for this church. It's been like what this church has done for our kids, especially our oldest, and what I envision will happen with our two following behind our oldest. Undescribable. Has helped. I don't know that my kids, especially my oldest, would be doing as well as she is if she wasn't involved in youth group and certain individuals like the Gorhams and others too that have parented alongside us.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way. First of all, it's shocking to hear that Andy has actually had positive impact in anyone's
know.
life. But
I know.
I know who all the girls like in the youth group. They talk to me, so hey, yeah.
but that is so. You know, Perry just mentioned today. It's the responsibility of the parent to train up their kids.
Yeah.
But it's the church's responsibility
Sure.
to come alongside and to help in the process.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know he mentioned like, oh, we only have them 1 to 2 hours a week, and some might immediately think like, that's not much, right? But it's so instrumental, at least for
Yes.
my kids. And it wasn't immediate. There were certain things like the first church camp that Zay went to was like
Okay.
a complete shift, like from one end to the other. I mean, it caught me by surprise. So obviously that was a little bit more that specific example than 1 hour, 2 hours a week, but it's adds up. I don't even know how to explain it.
No, it does.
But again, like I know without a doubt, if my kids weren't involved in this church and if we weren't involved in this church, I don't think that they would be where they're at. And don't get me wrong, my kids aren't like little walking angels. Not at all. And there's lots of things that we're continuing to work on.
Yeah.
But man, this youth group especially has been pivotal.
I look back in my life, and I would say that hour a week or those 2 hours a week had a disproportional influence on my life.
Yep.
It wasn't just like another hour.
Yep. Yeah.
There's something about gathering together with other people in an environment that's been prayed over and structured in order to help you spiritually that just gives it a greater impact than just being an hour.
Yep.
There's no question about that. But I think it's also fair to say, but parents are always going to have a greater influence for the most part, right, over the lives of their children. I have found in my many years of sitting in this seat, not technically this seat, but that there may be no other issue that brings more guilt quicker to people than parenting. It's just like,
Look what you get to look forward to one day, Matt.
I have 8 kids.
it is
And they're
just
eating me out of house and home.
Yeah. We want so much for our children.
Yeah.
And we are we're works in progress, right?
Yep.
As people, let alone as parents.
Yeah.
And we are so aware of the things that we wish we hadn't done, that we done differently, that we done better, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And guilt rises up. And anytime our kids mess up, I find this is true with so many parents, instantly it's like, that's my fault.
Yep.
Had I only been a better parent,
Yep.
my kid wouldn't be this, be that, do whatever the case may happen to be. And I was just, so Layla, I'm going to share this.
Okay.
And I hope it blesses everybody. I sometimes ask people, who was the first disappointed parent in human history? And the answer is God. God the Father brought 2 kids into the world, Adam and Eve. He was their father. And yet they messed up rather in a rather big way. And God was hurt. But what did God do wrong? And of course, the answer is nothing. Nothing. Even if we were flawless, our kids are still going to struggle.
Yeah.
So I love what you said. We need to forgive ourselves and move on and do better.
Yeah.
Because I think for the most part, it's the intention of our heart that we try to get better at doing more than anything that will weigh on the hearts of our kids and have the biggest impact on their life. I don't think we need to be flawless, fortunately, but when our kids see us trying to be consistent, like Perry mentioned repeatedly today, when they see us trying to love God and trying to do right and trying to make Him a priority, that's the thing that makes all the difference in the world. I thought it was fascinating the way Perry phrased, what is our top priority as a parent? And he said, it was to gradually transfer our kids' dependence from us to God. How does that differ from how most people in our culture would say their top priority is in parenting?
Well, I know I've said it myself. My top priority was to raise children that would go leave the house and become, valuable members of our society.
Yes.
And in a way, if you do teach them to rely on God solely, then you are doing that. But
Exactly.
But I've never looked at it under that lens or to that extent before. I've always like, I just want them to go out. Like we've often said like, all right, listen to me at home, but as long as you listen to people outside of here, and I hear, Andy, you have such nice, nice, polite children. I'm like, really? Because that's not what I see at home. But if I hear that outside, I'm like, okay, I'd rather that than this. And I guarantee, it's one of those things where I'm like, so I've had that same exact thing. I'm like, I just want them to raise them so they get on their own, dependent, and become a valuable member of society. Yeah. I should have been from the very beginning going, I really want them to rely on God, and all the rest of the pieces will fall into place.
That's why I thought that was so brilliant, because I think you nailed it. I think that most good parents are going, I want to raise children that are independent, that are able to be responsible and take care of themselves and make good decisions and move on, and I want them to still be dependent, but not on me or any other human being. I want them to depend on God. I just thought that was a great, great insight.
Yes.
Matt, when it comes to your 8 children,
Yes.
actually, in reality,
how many Laylas
What are their names again, Dave?
I struggle remembering the names of my 5 children. Mine. What would you say from the experience of having received it and being the youngest one amongst us today? What would you say the priority was in the way you were parented, Matt?
It depends when. As a young child, it was a lot of like the independence, do things for yourself. There was a big stress because my dad was in the Navy on doing things right the first time.
Okay.
There was a lot of that.
I'm glad my dad wasn't in the Navy because I did things wrong the first time all the time.
Oh, I did too. Boy, let me tell you. But then my parents split, and a lot of after that was kind of like damage control. So it was like, hey, I want my kids to like me, so let's figure this out. And there's so many great lessons that my parents did teach me, but it's very much a story of like, I can see now everybody was just doing their best, and they gave me everything they knew how to and could, and what they were able to at the time.
What a beautiful perspective to be able to look back and go, I know they were doing the best they could. I think there's a lot of kids, unfortunately, in our culture that might not be able to say that because the kids didn't seem to matter enough, or at least signals were sent that you're not that important, or you're kind of a nuisance, or you're a problem, or whatever the case may be. That's a beautiful, beautiful perspective. And to know your parents communicated that is great. And a reminder that so many people in our culture live in broken families, grew up in broken homes, that adds a whole nother layer of challenge to the whole parenting task.
Yeah.
We were reminded today that the scripture tells us that we need to fear God. And then it was even a matter of going, and our children should have a certain healthy fear for their parents. So here's my question for you. How do you understand a healthy fear? Like when it comes to really a healthy fear of God, how do you understand? What does it even mean to have a healthy fear of God?
For me, it was always, like I was taught early on what fear meant from a biblical standpoint, thankfully.
Okay.
So it helped to have that Sunday school thing of fear. We're not afraid of him. Your fear is the utmost respect of God. So your earthly parent, my dad would always, like when we were younger, sometimes we would get spanked. And unfortunately, and then it got to the point where the spankings didn't really, you have to put effort behind them. And as a parent, you don't want to do that because that means I'm going too far.
Too far.
And I remember when that happened then I started to get things taken away and grounded in different ways. But it was always one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, I was asked not to do these things, And the reason that I'm being punished is because I specifically went against what my dad asked me and my mom asked me to do.
Yeah.
So thankfully, like I said, from an early age, I was taught that it's not that you're scared of God or quaking in his presence, which we probably, when he does show up, I guarantee I would be, because I'm just human, and I'm like, oh no, I know how much I've messed up over the years, like you said, Matt. I've always done it wrong the first time. But it's the utmost respect, and if that's what I have towards God, then God has put this earthly parent in my life. I should have as much respect as I can possibly give to them as well, but knowing that it shouldn't be the same amount as what I fear for God, and that's hard to reconcile.
Yeah.
And as a parent too, I'm like, well, no, because you want your kid to love you the most.
Yeah.
But you also be like, well, there's two parents here. There's also God. I want them to love God more than me, because that means they're doing the right things. I'm not always guilty of having that mindset of like, want to be my kid's best friend or want to be the parent the fun parent or this or that.
Yes.
But unfortunately, thankfully, Angie balances me out with that really well, and we are greatly balanced. Because
that's a good thing when you can say that about the person you're married to and raising kids with, for sure. And it appears to be such a common trait in more contemporary families. And my generation, Matt? Did we say something to offend you?
Yes, sir.
Matt is on the
Matt's
worship team, and he's got to hop back in for third service and play.
He fears you.
We can keep talking. Yes, he has a healthy fear.
He says, "I'm not answering this question. I'm out of here." In our culture, it's like, and my generation, I think, is responsible for one of the shifts, and that is we just want our kids to like us.
Yeah.
Which, that's not inherently a bad thing at all.
I don't think so.
But when you're more concerned about being their friend and being liked than being their parent and really shaping their lives, it can open up to a whole host of problems. Layla, what does a healthy fear mean to you?
I don't like when you call my name directly.
There's no one else I can direct the question
I know.
to.
Thanks, Matt. To help lead worship. So I was thinking a lot about like healthy fear. I know this question is applied towards God, but when I was thinking about how I had a good healthy fear of my parents, especially my stepdad, that's who raised me, it's like that immediate thought of I knew I did something wrong. Right? But it's a good thing because if I knew I did something wrong, then I knew what the right thing was to do, right? So I think that that's very applicable not only in your earthly parents, but with God too, right? That means, and it's good, right? Because you're going to hopefully make wise decisions in your walk of life. And so that was the first thing that came to mind. It was that's where fear took me, is like that immediate feeling of like, oh boy, I'm in trouble. But just as my parents forgave me, God always forgives me.
Exactly.
Every single day. I'm like, I messed up again, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and when you did something wrong, it was because, these rules were set forth to try to protect me and things like that. So it's not like it's not a fear out of never being able to do things or have fun. It's like, no. As parents, we know we've experienced things, and we don't want our kids to experience those same, trials and those same tribulations. We don't want them to be picked on. We don't want them to be bullied. And it's going to happen. That's how I know. That's how I learned early on. I really needed Jesus in this parenting thing, because I watched my kid get knocked over by a kid, and I was like, I'm ready to knock that kid out. And that's just a kid. I shouldn't think like this at all. And I remember my dad telling me the same thing. He goes, son, I felt the same thing. He goes, the urge to just... I was like, you felt that too? He goes, yes, because we don't want our kids to ever experience pain. Correct. But it's going to happen, because that's what makes us who we are, and that's what molds us into...
I love how the themes of respect, the themes of parental love and wanting the best for our kids are attached to whatever a healthy fear is. I could only imagine that if someone had a parent that they could never please, a parent that was self-centered, a parent that looked at their child as an inconvenience and wanted them to behave so they weren't hassled, whenever that parent would punish them, the kid would have no respect for their parent. Even if they would want to like avoid being punished, the respect wouldn't be there because they wouldn't have any confidence that this was coming from a heart of love. But when a parent loves their kid, communicates that love in a regular way by words and actions, and then says, because I love you, this is the way we live, because this is healthy, this will bless you, this is good. And if you don't live in line with this, you know what? Justice will be done. There will be discipline meted out as a corrective because I want you to live the best life. There is a healthy fear of punishment, but it's healthy because we know the person loves us and only corrects us because they want the best for us. If that's out of the equation, it's not a healthy fear at all. Yeah. It's a very unhealthy fear. And this will be our last question. We are told in Proverbs 22:6, verse that was mentioned today, train up a child in the way he or she should go. And when they get older, they won't depart from it. They won't leave it. First, an observation. It's important to understand that all Proverbs are general truisms, not absolute guarantees. When I was growing up, it got hammered into me. If I raised my kid right, they would never go wrong when they were adults. Yeah. Again, I go back to God and go, he did nothing wrong, and yet his kids went astray, right? No, but what is generally true is if you will train your children in the way they should go, that will continue to influence powerfully as they move up. That little phrase translated, train up, this is so fascinating, is a Hebrew term that was used of Hebrew mothers when they were weaning their children from breast milk to regular food. They couldn't go buy baby food. So they would take adult food, chew it, then take the chewed food, put it on their finger and put it in their child's mouth and touch the palate of the child to teach them this was food. So they would swallow, they would develop a taste for it, so they would like it, and they would transfer their taste from breast milk to actual human food. And what hit me is that verse is really saying, put a taste for the things of God in the mouths of your children, in the hearts of your children. Teach them to like the things of God, to like this kind of life. And when they're older, chances are they're going to follow it. How do we put a taste for the things of God in the mouths of our children?
I think there's a lot of different things that come to mind. One, I'm stuck in my head thinking about like a mama bird feeding a baby bird because they chew it up, but they don't gracefully give a little taste. They're
no,
like,
they just.
So one,
I was gonna do the same
just
thing.
so you know what's going on in my head right now.
Now we have
Birds
an idea of where
vomiting.
Layla's mind goes.
Welcome. So I think for us, again, I kind of touched on this earlier, but being a part of a church community, and I think that is actively showing our kids like coming to church, which we're trying to get better because sometimes, especially with our oldest, I won't make her come to the Sunday morning service because I'm like, okay, she'll go to youth group, but we're trying to find balance there too, because I do think it's important that she hears the message. It's a double message, not only in the morning, but in the afternoon for youth group too. But going to church, being a part of small groups when we can. We have hosted people before, and our kids have seen that. And I mean, I think Perry touched on this too, right? Like what you prioritize, they see, right?
That's right.
And it's again, there's so many things that we talk about in all of our messages that are like common sense, but it's nice to just hone in on it again, and intentionally, because when you stop and think about it, you just forget the common sense things, right? Like I forget that my kids are constantly watching the good and also the bad. Which I have plenty of the bad. But yeah, and just trying to make sure that we're getting them in youth group and, Sunday school type
Yeah.
classes, and just instilling in them to be good individuals, which is hard because my kids especially are just not naturally wanting to be great individuals. They are weirdos. And but we're getting there, right? It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm weird, right? I'm sitting over here talking about birds puking
We're
in each
all
other's
weird
mouths.
in our own ways, every one of us.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of just, I really liked what Perry said about, prioritizing what we as parents value. Because I think there's so much power in just like the little things too, right? The things I say out loud, the things I want to say under my breath, my actions, who I hang out with, what I'm doing. Like they're little sponges watching constantly.
All the time.
They so are. Any words to add to that, Andy?
Just consistency. Consistency breed. It creates habits, and you can create good habits. You can create bad ones. So we make it. Even if our kids didn't always, because of work or other things, couldn't always go, they always knew Sunday mornings where are mom and dad.
Yeah.
Well, they're at church, or where are they at Sunday afternoons? They're helping with youth group. Where are you guys going tonight? Small group. Where are you going? We're going to hang out with small group friends, or we're going to do this. We're going to go help there. Like, why helping that person move? Because it's what we're called to do. Have a servant's heart. Just put those things out in the world, and hopefully, or in your kid's life, and it will. You might not see it right away, and there might be some times where they, like you said, they don't always follow through. But I have a feeling that will right that ship, and it will come back. So
And I could almost guarantee. I will guarantee there will be times they won't get it right, and there are times that they leave, but will come back. That's the way it goes. An old saying I heard so many years ago that our faith is more caught than taught, and it's what they see in us. Because as it was stated today, they know what you love the most. They know what you care about the most. They know what your priority. They see it. And those kinds of things register in the hearts of our kids in a more powerful way than any lecture that we could ever give them.
Yeah.
So it's a task, and we're learning how to do that task better no matter what stage our kids may be in. And we invite you to be along for the journey. We'll be talking about this for the next 3 weeks or so. And you can join us here at Connections. You can catch us online. See the post show. If you're part of a small group, makes for great discussion as well. So thanks for joining us today. Thank you for being here as well. We hope we see you next Sunday, and that you have a fantastic week.